Hi Michael, this is Henry here, and I wanted to walk you through 7 critical issues that I found with your website that are costing you money. So the first thing I wanted to go through was give you a quick overview of the issues that I found about them and tell you about all those 7 issues, and then I'll go through each of them, giving you a bit of detail, what the problem is and how it's costing you money and what recommendations you can go through to fix these issues. So the first one is you have a brochure website and not a website that sells. The second one is you're not capturing the names and emails of visitors. The third is you focus on features instead of customer benefits. The fourth is you don't use headlines to capture interest quickly. Fifth, you don't have any testimonials or social proof. Six, you don't have a friendly design or navigation. 7, your calls to action are weak. So with that being said, I have your website loaded over here, and as you can see, um, what I mean by a brochure website is your website is basically a brochure on the internet, and you're missing a significant opportunity by not using this website to help you generate leads for your salespeople to sell. So if you imagine your website like a store, someone comes to your store and all your salesperson does is hand them a brochure and that's it, and says, read this if you're interested. That's a pretty passive and, I guess in my opinion, a waste of money that you're paying to your salespeople. Now, in contrast, if you set up a direct response website that helps you sell like an effective mini salesperson, it can convince somebody who's considering you. So looking through your website, it's pretty simple, pretty basic, and picture each of these pages as a pamphlet in that brochure. So the tough part is you don't actually even know how many potential customers are visiting your website, and then of those potential customers, where they're coming from. So for example, from that Yellow Pages ad that you have, and you've pretty much lost them because no one kept in touch with them. So my recommendation is you should transfer the site into what's called a direct response website. It's a little bit more interactive for your customers. Your website should be like a mini salesperson. It should convince the customer to do business with you. And my next point will walk you through how that can be accomplished. So the next one is you're not capturing the names and emails of your prospects. So what happens is, imagine going back to the store, if someone visits your store and has a bunch of questions, you likely have a salesperson ask them questions, get to know who they are, get to know what they're looking for, so that you can arrange next steps. And what I mean by that is when somebody comes and visits, like I said before, you don't know where they're coming from and the information that the customer has. And this is a big problem with your website. Like, I can't even quantify what the impact is to your business because you don't even know what new customers you could have gotten. And the scariest part is you seem to do quite a bit of big jobs, like you've done Manulife Financial, Dunfield Theatre, University of Waterloo, and just imagine what one of those customers could have brought for you, from a reputation standpoint and your basic revenue. And people are willing to give you their email name and email, provided that you give them something useful in exchange. And when they give you that, and you give them useful information, the ones who actually first come to your website and try to see whether or not you're right for them, they could be interested at the moment, but may not be wanting to buy now. But the ones, but you're going to lose those people because when they first come and see and you're not capturing their emails, then you're not really educating them. And sometimes if they're interested, they'll just give you their email. And you can set up something where you give them educational material over a period of time, and they're going to see, wow, you've really helped me when I'm interested to buy, like when I have enough money in my budget, or when my project comes up and I'm going to think about Conestogo Mechanical when it comes down to it. So the fourth The third point, sorry, is you focus on features instead of benefits. So when I look at your website and I go onto it, I'm not sure what the relevance is to the customer related to occupational health and safety. This is more towards um, employees, which is really nice. But as a customer or as a client of yours looking into knowing how this benefits, I'm not really sure how that ties together. The next part is then I look at your services. So if I look at your services, yes, you say you have 24-hour services in plumbing and HVAC areas. You have 30 highly trained professionals. These are the service offerings that you give. But I'm not sure how that translates to helping the customer. So what if you are available 24 hours, 7 days a week? Um, you're undervaluing your great work to these prospects because they don't know what it is that you can offer them. Then what I'm recommending is you want to change the messaging on your website to focus on teaching the customers the importance of having quality technicians, or um, the importance of being 24/7 available 24/7. So think about it this way: um, how is someone going to consider you if they don't know what benefit they get from choosing you specifically? Imagine this situation. If a pipe burst and you're there to save the day, as a customer, I'd be like, wow, I'm in. So my fourth point was, do you have any headlines? And looking at it is, your most important space is wasted over here with a rotating graphic. I'm not really sure what the graphic is supposed to show, but um, in short, a headline is like the main title of a website and on every other page of the website. So think about when you read a newspaper. When you pick up a newspaper, you don't just jump into some random article. You look at a headline and you read something that interests you. But as a customer, how do I know what to read? You're losing my attention if I have to search through your website for things. You literally have 2 to 3 seconds to capture a visitor's interest, and they're going to hit that back button on their computer. Like, they're going to go and look at their other competitors. So, for example, one of your competitors is urbanmechanical.com. And what would it feel like when you lose them to Urban Mechanical? So include some headlines on your website showing the main benefits to the customer. My next point is, are you using any customer testimonials? And I'm looking through it, so I'm going to go jump into your projects and events, and I look at it and it says, okay, so this project consisted of a tenant fit up of an existing shell office space for Manulife. The project was completed under tight schedule, and coordination was of utmost importance. So what? Were they pleased with what you've done? You could have done and met tight schedule, but you could have done some pretty poor work, and nobody really liked it. Like, because you were trying to get everything done under that tight schedule, your quality was sacrificed, and now they're struggling with the work that you've done because it wasn't the greatest. So think of it like a movie. You're not going to go to a movie, or think about it for a restaurant. You're not going to go to those unless you have a good review. And what are you going to do? You're going to go online and see, what does other people say about this movie? Is this movie interesting to watch? Like, what was good about it? Similar here. Your customers are going to look at your previous projects and see how well you've performed on it. And it's pretty simple if you add something along the lines of how well you've performed or feedback from the customer. My next point is your design and navigation. As I mentioned before, it was a pretty simple website and design that you have, which is really great for the customer. It's simple and straightforward. I mean, I've gone through it and looked at some things, and one of the most disappointing things is there's an error in your website. as I go through that, that's not encouraging to see for customers. I mean, what if I'm from the University of Laurier looking for a mechanical contractor and I can't read about it, so you've already turned me off. I'll take my business elsewhere. So my recommendation is just to do an audit of your website and find those error pages. It's not hard to find. And the last part is how strong is or compelling is your call to action. You don't have a call to action. It's pretty much, like I said, a brochure website. This is something where I'm talking about having it much more responsive, and it's a pretty simple solution if you think about it. Um, in these days, people are looking to ask questions about products and services online, and if I'm looking at it, so if I'm interested right now, I would go to your contact page, fill out this form, fill out this um, protection, and hope to get contacted. You want to make it easy for your customer to get in touch with you. And I'd recommend a few things here. So, for example, request a callback button pretty much on every page. If you say interested, click here, interested, click here, or this call call this number if you want to know something. Add some commentary next to the button that says "Want to talk to somebody right now." All you have to do is click the button, and then have the customer click the button. Simplify your customer inputs to just name and phone number. So once all that's entered, what you can do is that information can be fed to your database, and you give them a call and work that way. So I've pretty much walked through your website um, and the problems. And honestly, I think that these issues are costing you money and customers. You're missing a lot of opportunities here, and what I'd recommend you do is give me a call right now at 416-303-6002, or use the online booking system in that page that you have, and schedule a no commitment consultation with me, which is usually $350. And I can walk you through in detail how you can fix the issues on your website and also many more that I've spotted. The worst case scenario for you is that your consultation with me is that you've spent some time with me, but you'll get a list of things that you can do to fix your website. There's no obligation to choose me, and you can take all the recommendations that I've given you and do it yourself. I mean, it's just a complimentary consultation. In this consultation, you'll get me to walk you through issues in detail, and it gives you a chance to ask questions where I think that's the most important part of it. And it looks like, I mean, my advice to you is it looks like you run a fantastic business. And you may be wondering what you're doing has been good enough for you, and it's good enough for your steady growth that you've been having. But these things that I'm recommending wouldn't be too much trouble on your end, and think about it. If this is another way for you to get customers, I mean, to me, the payback is pretty obvious. It's quite a no-brainer. So please give me a call, and I'd be happy to walk you through these issues. Thank you.